jumping in. I saw Mom and Dad last night. Now, again, this movie begs the question, is it a horror movie? I say yes. This is absolutely a horror movie. Mom and Dad, starring Nicolas Cage, an excellent film. An excellent film. 1 hour and about 25 minutes this film is, so it's a short one. But the whole ride is massive, extreme, terrifying anxiety. Like, almost every scene with Nicolas Cage, his acting in this movie is, again, it's all time. This is one of the greatest Nicolas Cage performances out of any movie. It's incredible. It's incredible. I really have to tell you, it is incredible. Like, the way in the early parts of the film that Nicolas Cage, like, has those, like, weird blank moments, or, like, the shrieking, like, signal sound is playing, and then he, like, twists his head and everything's normal. Fuck. So, anyway, the premise of the movie is there's some sort of signal being played through televisions that makes parents want to murder their children. So, like, the love and protection instinct in the parents is flipped to, you know, obviously, you know, oh, I have a kid, I love my kid. From that to, oh, I have a kid, obviously, I want to kill my kid. And so that's the basis for the movie. Nicolas Cage is the dad in Mom and Dad, and Selma Blair is the mom, who also does a really good job. Another fun fact about this movie is there's a scene where they're watching television before the signal appears. After the signal appears, but before it appears on that television. And there's like a news montage of people trying to like figure out what it is. And in one of the montages, you have Dr. Oz being interviewed. So Dr. Oz is in this movie, who's now we know is a fucking Republican Senate candidate. But back when he was a TV snake oil doctor, he did get into movies. You know, for news snippets, those are things that would happen. So, you know, just throwing that out there. But anyway, so like the first half of the movie is setting up the mom and dad character, setting up the kids. The teenage daughter is, you know, she's pretty bitchy. She hates her parents, you know. Fuck you, right? Like, you know, that kind of attitude. The little boy is like 8 years old or some shit, or like probably maybe 5. I don't even know. Like pretty young. They're running around. They got toys all over the place. They're just chilling. And mom and dad, you know, dad's like you know, he's entering a midlife crisis. You know, he's you know, he's kind of out of it. It's suggested that he's fucking the secretary at one point in the movie, so you know he's not really all the way in on what's happening in his life. The mom is, you know, she's got like a tenuous, you know, social, calendar. Her sister is having a baby. There's a great scene where her sister has the baby, hears the signal when the like while the umbilical cord is still there, and then like tries to attack the baby in the hospital room. It was great. It was incredible. And the premise of the movie is that the kid wants to go somewhere with her best friend. The teenage daughter wants to go somewhere with her best friend or whatever. But the parents want her to stay home because Nicolas Cage's parents are coming over for a family dinner, right? But they only bring that up once in the movie at the very beginning, right? And then as like the crazy violence starts happening, right? Right? There's one moment in the movie where the doorbell rings and then Nicolas Cage's parents come in. And like, you know, a lot of the time, like, you know, I can see a lot of viewers forgetting that detail. And then when you hear the doorbell, it's like, oh, fuck. Because then it turns into a multi-generational, like, battle royale where, like, Nicolas Cage's parents are trying to kill Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is trying to dodge the parents' attacks while also trying to kill his own kids. And it's great. I mean, my favorite scene in this movie has to be the pool table scene. So while the two kids are running away from mom and dad And, throughout the house, they're like trying to dodge. And then they decide, let's go into the basement and lock the door. They go in the basement, and in the basement, they see a fucking mess. There's wood everywhere. There's broken shit everywhere. There's like balls everywhere from the pool table, billiard balls, right? The whole basement's a mess. And then it starts a flashback. It immediately cuts to black and says 3 weeks ago. And then it cuts to like a montage of like Nicolas Cage building a pool table, and he's making it perfect, and it's like he's so into this. And then the wife comes down and is like, oh boy, can you afford this? Can we afford this? And she starts doing the financial stuff. And then he has a meltdown. He takes a sledgehammer and destroys the whole basement and has a giant fucking meltdown. And you think the scene's gonna end there. Oh yeah, like the Nicolas Cage character was always fucked up and crazy, right? That's where you think the scene's gonna end. But then it cuts to him crying, saying like, when he was younger, he would never imagine how his life would turn out. The typical midlife crisis stuff. And then like the mom and the dad, they're having like a moment where they're like, they're both weeping over the lives that they could have had or whatever. And it's actually like kind of like it's pretty emotional. And it's they go for that, like, the 1-2 punch. But then it cuts back to the mom and dad, like the present day, and then they're in the basement with the fucked up, pool table and all the like the mess everywhere, and there's like weapons in the basement. There's like the sledgehammer and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, the mom and dad can't get in because they don't know how to bust the door down. Apparently, they just can't do it. I guess I don't know why. So what they do is they decide to hook up a gas line, right, into the basement to gas them out. And then there's a whole, like, the whole arc of the film is, like, the kids are getting gassed, right? And they're coughing, and they're, like, not moving properly, and, like, they're fucked up. But the teenage daughter decides to lay a trap under the door with matches, finds matches, sets it up under the door, so when they break the door down and the door moves, it'll light the matches, light the gas, and then blow them up. Not the kids, but the mom and dad as they try to enter the room. That was a great scene. When Nicolas Cage opens the door and gets blown, and not in the good dick way either, but when he gets blown up by the fire in the door, that was crazy. He survives. I guess the door protected him from the flames. I don't know, but he gets fucked up pretty bad. Anyway, man, this movie, non-stop. I mean, like, look at the poster, right? 0 to 60 speed crazy. I mean, I don't even know if that's English, but like that'll pretty much, that sums it up. Like a twisted remake of Home Alone on bath salts. I mean, that about sums it up. Now, again, is it a horror movie? I would say it's more of an anxiety comedy than a horror, but I think it definitely qualifies as horror. There's horror elements. Anxiety is a horror kind of feeling. It builds anxiety. That's horror. It takes place, it's kind of like a slasher. There's lots of like slasher kind of scenes, There's a scene where the teenage daughter's boyfriend is going home, and then he gets into a fight with his dad, and it gets pretty brutal and fucked up, and this like. So I would definitely say that this qualifies as like semi-slasher in the horror genre. So I feel comfortable reviewing it during my horror marathon. But this movie, again, if you like Nicolas Cage, I'm a huge Cage fan. I'm trying to collect every Nicolas Cage movie, right? That's what I want to do. And then watch them all in chronological order. That's going to be another movie marathon at some point. Maybe in a couple years. It's going to take me a while to collect them all. But anyway, I got to say, I've seen not every Cage movie. I haven't seen every single one yet. But I've seen a good chunk. I've probably seen at least 40 or 50 Cagers. And I got to tell you, all-time banger performance from Nicolas Cage. Like, we're talking, like wow. Like, we're talking about, whoa. We're talking about one fuck mother of a film. And it's the whole movie. It's like an hour. Like, there's like a middle part. Like Nicolas Cage is in the beginning. And then there's like a middle part when the teenage daughter's at school. And it shows like what the mom's doing where Cage is kind of absent. But then as soon as he comes back, it's fucked up, man. It goes all in. It's great. It's an all-time banger performance from Nicolas Cage. I love this movie. This is a movie that I feel like I could watch it 10 times and it's still entertaining. Like, this movie is just, it's great. It's great. I have to recommend you watch it. And again, it's short. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes, not counting the credits. So it's not that long. It's pretty short, and again, it is a banger. It is an all-time banger. Like the screaming, like the acting, like Nicolas Cage does this thing where he like shakes his face all the time, and it's like, it's crazy shit, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. All the acting is wonderful, and the concept, it's good enough to get the job done. And fuck, I mean, it's a movie. It's a movie. I don't know what to tell you. It's a fucking movie. So, there you go. Mom and Dad, check it out.